Hello, you are welcome to the second part of explanation of modal auxiliary verbs. Let's move on. Moving on, let's talk about suggestions and advice. The modal verb could can be used to offer suggestions. Yes, could is not as strong as should. We are going to talk about should. Should communicates gentle advice. Let's talk about should for suggestion. Should for advice. Should is used when the speaker wants to make a strong suggestion. It is very sunny. You should wear a hat. Take note that should comes before the advice. It comes before the advice. Let's look at further examples. It might rain. You should take your umbrella with you. You are sick. I don't think you should go to work today. There's ice on the roads. You shouldn't drive tonight. Which hat should I buy? They are all so cool. How do we form it? Your subject plus should. Should is the modal verb. And remember, it states the way it is. It is not shoots. It is not should. Should ed. No. Whether you are using plural noun, singular noun, it states the same way. Then we have what? Your main verb. Should is followed by the what? By the base form of the main verb. Ought to is a more formal and less common way to say should. More polite way. Maybe you are talking to a stranger. You want to advise a stranger. You want to just more polite way. It is not usually used in the negative or question form. You say, you should wear a scarf. You ought to wear a scarf. So there's something like you ought not to wear a scarf. It's very cold outside. You ought to wear a scarf. A more polite way. Let's look at the English if I were you. When do we use it? English uses if I were you to give advice in second conditionals. The advice is expressed using I would. So when you use if I were you, your second clause that will follow it will have would. I don't know if I should take this job. If I were you, I would take it. That's how to write it. It's not if I were you, I will leave. No. You say, if I were you, I would wake up early. We call this second conditional because it's something that is unreal conditional, because I am not you. I am not you. It's the same thing like say, if I were your mother, I would train you better. But I am not your mother. That's why we are using that way. You understand? It doesn't mean you're actually expressing that sentence in the past. It just means that it is an unreal situation. So you use would with it. I'm going to the concert tonight. If I were you, I'd leave early. That I'd leave early is contraction form of I would leave early. That's one thing. Some people say they read but they do not understand. Imagine you see something like that. For this, what I'm saying. If I were you, I'd what? Okay. Leave early. You can say. Not knowing that it's the same thing as saying, if I were you, I would leave early. You can say. And it's expressing unreal condition. I think I'll buy this shirt. I wouldn't buy it if I were you. You can see, still that would. Or you can say, if I were you, I wouldn't buy it. The same thing. Let's look at had better. Had better can be used to give strong or urgent advice that can have negative consequence if it is not followed. Had better can be used to give strong, and negative. And let's look at the structure. Had better. When you have had better, it must be with the base form verb. You had better get up early. Remember we said had better can be used to give a strong or urgent advice that can have a negative consequence if it is not followed. Like, let's have the negative consequence. You had better get up early, or else you would be late. You can say, or you'll be late. So you had better leave for school. It's already 8:45. Please take note of that structure and take note of when we use it. Take note of when we use it. You had better leave this place before I lose my anger. Yes, something like that. You had better leave my sight before I lose my anger. So it's not you had better lost my sight. No. Could for suggestions. Could is often used to suggest a solution to a problem. It states a possible course of action without necessarily recommending it. I hate my car. Well, you could get a new one. Could means that action is a possibility, a choice that might solve that problem. For instance, you could study science in college. You could learn English in Canada next year. If they need more space, they could buy a bigger house. How do we form it? Your subjects, your could, which doesn't change irrespective of the subject, then your main verb in base form, and what the rest of the sentence. Let's talk about could and or for suggestion. When people give suggestion using could, they often give more than one option. Our friends are coming over for dinner, but the oven is broken. We could make a salad or we could order a pizza. You can see. Let's look at further examples. I can't decide what to make for dinner tonight. Well, you could make a curry or a lasagna. Modal verb doesn't change or doesn't have to be repeated. You don't have to say you could make a curry or you could make a lasagna. No. What should I wear to Jan's wedding? You could wear your new dress or a skirt. That's one of the things to reduce wordiness. You don't have to say you could wear your new dress or you could wear a skirt. No. Making recommendations. One of the most common ways of recommending something or making a suggestion is using a modal verbs. For instance, you could visit the park, it's beautiful. Or you might visit the park, it's beautiful. That's general suggestion. What about you ought to visit the park? That's a stronger suggestion. You should visit the park or you ought to visit the park is stronger. What about if you now say you must visit the park? That one is a very strong suggestion. A very strong suggestion. That's why we said modal verb expresses mood. It could be, your mood could be, if you want to rate it, you could visit the park. Let's say averagely 50%. You should or you ought to visit the park. That's like saying 70%. While you must visit the park is talking about like 90 or 100%. So take note of that. Emphasis can be added by putting really in front of you should, ought to, and must. The next one we will talk about is modal auxiliary verbs that we use for obligations. And in English, we use have to and must when we are talking about obligations or things that are necessary. Obligations. Must and have to both express a strong need or obligation to do something. You must rest or your leg won't heal. You have to rest or your leg won't heal. It's very strong, something that you have no choice but to do it. Must not is a strong negative obligation, and it means something is not allowed. For instance, you must not get your bandage wet or your leg might not heal properly. Don't have to means something is not necessary or there's no obligation. You don't have to come again. Your leg is better. Further examples: he must take 2 pills each morning and evening for the next 2 weeks. Strong obligation. She must not go back to work until her back is better. Strong negative obligation. Do I have to go back to the doctor again? I'm feeling so much better. How to form. Must does not change with the subject, but have to becomes what has to. You have to say she must, they must, we must, the girl must. But you say they have to, we have to, she has to, he has to. That have to change, but it is must that does not change. And if you want to use have to in negative, she does not have to, they do not have to. Do you understand? These are the common mistakes that we should avoid. Must not and don't have to do not mean the same thing at all. Must not is used to give an instruction that forbids someone from doing something, while don't have to is to tell someone that it is not necessary that they do it. You must not use a calculator during this exam. That means it is against the rules to use a calculator. You don't have to use a calculator, but it might be useful. That is, you are allowed to use a calculator, but it is not required. I hope you understand that. You are allowed to use a calculator, but it is not required. Must and have to in the future. There is no future form of must. The future of have to is formed with the auxiliary verb will. For instance, in some countries, people must recycle. People have to recycle. In the future, I think everyone will have to recycle. You don't say, I think everyone we must recycle. Everyone will recycle in future. That's correct. That's correct. Everyone will must recycle in future. That's wrong. She does not have future this thing. Must not does not also have future form. Don't have to can be used in the future form. One day, I hope I will not have to work so hard. Not I hope I will not must work so hard. No. Must and have to in the past. There's no past form of must. The past tense of have to is used. For most job, you must use a computer or you have to use a computer. In the past, you didn't have to use a computer. So that's the past form. Let's look at making deductions, the modal verbs that we use to make deductions. Modal verbs can also be used to talk about likely or unlikely something. They can be used to guess and make deductions about what has happened or is happening now. For instance, might and could can be used to talk about uncertainty. John has a sore ankle. It might be broken or it could be broken. So the modal verb doesn't change with the subject. The modal verb is usually followed by the base form of the main verb. John has a sore ankle. It might be broken. Be broken. Do you understand? Might not is used to describe negative things that are not certain. It is not very slowly swollen, so it might not be serious. Must is often used to speculate about the present. John must be very bored at home. He is usually so active. Cannot and can't are used when someone is certain about something impossible. John's leg cannot be broken. He walked to the doctor. John's leg can't be broken. He walked to the doctor. Further examples: Faith got a sore throat and isn't feeling well. She might have a cold. My eyes are itchy and I have a runny nose. It could be hay fever. I was so sick last week that I couldn't get out of bed. I can't have the flu because I don't have a high temperature. So we use it to make speculation and deduction. Let's talk about speculation and deduction about the past. Must have with past participle, that's verb number 3, is used to speculate about the past when the speaker is sure something happened. He just disappeared. Aliens must have taken him. Must can be replaced with may and might or could when the speaker is not sure. They might have taken him to another planet. They may have taken him to another planet. They could have taken him to another planet. You are not sure. But when you are sure, aliens must have taken him. When something is sure to happen, can't and couldn't can be used to refer to something that the speaker is certain did not happen. It can't have been aliens. They don't exist. It couldn't have been aliens. They don't exist. Further example: Bethan didn't return my call yesterday. She must have been busy. She might have forgotten to call me back. She might not have written down my number correctly. You are not sure, right? Paul can't have been at the party last night. She was at work. Certain did not happen. I didn't see who knocked on the door, but it may have been the mailman. Not sure. What happened to my vase? The cat must have knocked it over. Sure. The next thing we talk about is possibility. Modal verbs that we use to talk about to express possibility or uncertainty. And the most common one is might. Might can be added to different phrases to refer to either past, present, or future possibility. Let's talk about past. I can't find the compass. I might have dropped it earlier. Earlier there is showing the past. Present possibility: I don't remember this path. We might be lost. Don't, right? Present: it is very cold. The future now. It is very cold outside. It might snow later on. Future. Further examples: we might have taken a wrong turn at the river. It might be windy at the top of the mountain. Joe might not come working with us next weekend. Tip: questions with might are only used in very formal English. Might we come here next week is very rare. It's only used in formal writing. Let's talk about might with uncertainty. Other phrases can be added to sentences with might to express or emphasize uncertainty about something. I might take the bus home. I'm not sure. I don't know. I might have more pizza. Past possibility, as well as might or other modal verbs, can be used to talk about something that possibly happened in the past. The copier isn't working. It may have run out of paper, or you could say it might have run out of paper, or it could have run out of paper. That is, it thinks it is possible that the copier has run out of paper. This construction can be used to talk about something that possibly did not happen in the past. Yes. You might not have plugged it correctly. You may not have plugged it correctly. That is, the printer wasn't plugged in correctly. Could not. Could not can only be used when the speaker is certain that that thing did not happen. You couldn't have changed the ink correctly. You couldn't have changed the ink correctly. That is, he is certain that the ink wasn't changed correctly, probably looking at the printout. So that is how to use modal auxiliary verb. I really hope you got value from this video. Don't forget to like, drop a comment or question in the comment section, and most importantly, subscribe to this YouTube channel. Thank